Hello everyone, welcome back to Isadora. It's really good to be back. Hope you're all having a good week. Okay, so I haven't posted in a minute. So well, what happened was, like I always say, I usually get like inspired to do something, and sometimes I tend to put myself under a bit of pressure, like if I haven't gotten the inspiration to do something. So like what I'm trying to say is, I know the difference between when I'm inspired to do something and when the topic is just like off the top of my head. So I would rather wait till I'm actually inspired to do something, to do a video. Do you understand? That way, the way I tend to know the difference is that if it's an inspiration, I would probably get the name of a character in my head or something, or somebody I could use an example. Do you understand? Now, even if I don't know the person's story, what usually happens is that once I read up on it, it tends to be exactly the information I need. So half the time, if I don't post very often, it's because sometimes I do wait to get inspiration to post so that I have something a bit more detailed. Okay, so to cut the long story short, welcome back to Isadora again. It's really good to be back. So today I'm going to be discussing malignant narcissism. I've been trying to do this video for a while, but obviously, like I said, I wait till I actually get the inspiration to do it. So anyway, my topics again are based on science and spirituality. So before I do start the video, I would like everyone to join me and we'll say our Lord's Prayer. It's become a bit of my thing lately, so I like to say it before, and you can read it up on the screen if you don't know the words to it. So, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thou is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so a lot of people wonder what spirituality has got to do with, because most of my topics are focused on narcissism and toxic behaviors. This is to educate. Like I said, even before I started to educate myself on all those things, I really didn't know much about it, especially narcissism. And funny enough, when I found out about it, I thought it was something new, like a new term or whatever it is. But trust me, narcissism dates back to like ancient days. Now, like I was trying to say before, a lot of people wonder what the correlation is between narcissism and spirituality, or why I have to say a Lord's Prayer or anything at all. But what I would say about that is that mental health professionals actually could not determine if malignant narcissism or narcissism, what's it called, or narcissism in itself is a diagnosis. They couldn't decide if it was actually a medical diagnosis or a question of morals and judgment. Do you understand? If that makes any sense. So it's for them, as far as they're concerned, like there's no cure for it. So but they could not actually determine if it was actually like a real diagnosis or it was just a question of somebody's morals. What I want to say about that is that if medical mental health professionals cannot determine if it's a real diagnosis, that means it's not medical. Do you understand? If it's just a question of somebody's morals and judgment, that's religion. That actually falls under religion, because religion is what curbs someone's morals. It's what enhances, it's what curbs someone's morals and judgments. You understand? So religion, so that falls under spirituality, if that makes any sense. Do you understand? Because even mental health professional can't actually determine if it's a real diagnosis. That means it's actually not medical. Do you understand? It's more spiritual than medical, narcissism. Because so I went a little further and I went to check for the meaning of malignant narcissism. Now, the word malignant means highly evil in nature, if that makes any sense. So the word malignant means highly evil in nature. Do you understand? So if you combine the two and you say malignant narcissism, okay, so let me read it off Google. Okay, so it's a form of narcissistic personality disorder that is highly abusive, if that makes any sense. People with this personality supposedly get a sense of satisfaction from hurting others and may manipulate people or lie to gain money, acclaim, and other things they desire. So basically, it's not medical. Do you understand? It's a personality disorder, but it's not medical. It doesn't fall under medical diagnosis, which is why even mental health professionals can't actually determine that it's medical. They feel it's more of it's based more on a person's morals and judgment, and that actually falls under religion, which means this is where spirituality comes into play, because evil is not medical. Do you understand? Someone being evil. The places of reference for evil would be in religious texts, and that makes it religious or spiritual, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I think I've explained that enough. So for me, in my opinion, I think it's more spiritual than it is medical, because even the mental health professionals can't actually determine that it's a real diagnosis, which it doesn't fall under medicine. It falls under more of spirituality. So in my best definition of malignant narcissism would be to say like an evil devil, if that makes any sense. Okay, what malignant narcissism is, so let me break it down, is a narcissist that is also a psychopath. So this is somebody with a narcissistic personality disorder and an antisocial personality disorder. So it's like a psycho, like probably psycho. If you say psycho, the best definition for a psycho is somebody that has no remorse, no feelings, no empathy, nothing towards others. They're just cold, they're inhumane, literally. They enjoy watching other people's hurt or suffer. Other people hurt or suffer. Do you understand? They enjoy this stuff. Then combine that with a true-blown narcissist. Somebody that's full of pride, haughtiness, like to control people. So it's like a mixture of two extreme toxic behavior. Do you understand? And that is just crazy. Like, this is not somebody you would want to come across. Like, this is not somebody you want to be close to or you want to your circle. So it's, like I said, it's never limited to gender. It could be, and it could be it can manifest in any sort of relationship. I don't want to use the word manifest. It can come across in any sort of relationship. It could be in your relationship with your partner or your girlfriend or your spouse. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be work colleagues, it could be anybody, and it could be anywhere. So basically, like I always say, my topics are to educate. So if at all you do have somebody with traits of this in your circle, you know what to look out for and you know how to tackle it. Or if you have somebody that has a full-blown narcissist, you know to take to your heels. Anyway, so okay, so let's break it down a little bit. Like I said, these are people you do not want in your circle. They are people that they seek constant praise and attention. That's a really good way to spot a narcissist. They want you to praise them constantly. Do you understand? So they for probably something they haven't even done. Do you understand? They seek constant approval, constant validation, constant praise, constant, very prideful people, very, anyway, arrogant, very highly controlling, and they'll go to any means to control their victim. Now, there's also something I've always said about narcissism. Most narcissists, yes, a lot of people experience narcissism, but people that experience narcissism the most are people called empaths. Now, it's like a fight between the dark and the light. Do you understand? People with, like I said, I'm looking at it from a spiritual standpoint now. I mean, there's so much on it from the clinical, from the medical standpoint. If you go online, if you check on Google, there's so many definitions for it. There's so many ways to break it down that is medical and clinical. I'm yet to really see from a spiritual point of view, which is where I come in. Do you understand? So I'm trying to look at it from a spiritual point of view. Okay, so I said it's like a fight between the dark and the light. So from a spiritual standpoint, narcissists are people with the spirit of the devil, Satan. Do you understand? People with evil spirit, highly evil in nature. Do you understand? Like I said, the devil, God, energies. Do you understand? These are energies. Do you understand? People think, like in storybooks, like the devil will come to you with horns, and no, it doesn't work like that. The devil is like an energy, and the devil can come against you through anybody. Most of the time through the closest people to you. Do you understand? Because these are the people you least expect to do something bad to you, if that makes any sense. So the devil will use anybody that is susceptible to be used. Let me put it that way. Do you understand? Somebody that is a bit low vibrational is open to be used by the devil. Do you understand? Which is why. So anyway, so these are people with negative spirits, demonic spirits. These are people they're highly evil in nature. Somebody that can literally just kill another person without thinking about it, with no remorse, is totally psycho. Do you understand? Somebody that is full of pride and haughtiness and just wants to control people and would lie and would do anything to gain that and destroy people is totally insane. Do you understand? So anyway, but however, they're still walking around like normal people, and do you understand? So basically, they're people with negative energies. Do you understand? So let's say they're descendants of the devil. They're minions of the devil. They are susceptible to be used by the devil. Anyway, Then the people that get that suffer narcissistic abuse more often are people called empaths. I'm sorry, am I just blabbing on? I'm trying to break it down as much as possible so people understand. I know I have referred to this in my former videos, but I always just try to explain, should in case this is the very first video anyone catches. Anyway, so are people called empaths. Empaths are most likely people that have a calling on their lives. I have explained the calling thing like 1,000,001 times, but just to go through it very quickly again, a calling does not necessarily mean a religious calling. It could be a calling. It's a calling to walk in destiny, to walk in your destiny, to uplift the vibration of the earth, to heal people, to make people happy, to do something positive on this planet. Do you understand? So there are people that have a calling on their life. So what happens is when somebody has a calling on their life, the devil tries to destroy that before sometimes they'd even find out that they have a calling on their life. So the devil tries to take them through the wrong path, destroy their lives and everything. And the devil will not come to do it themselves. They have to go through people. Do you understand? Human beings, hence narcissists. Do you understand? So anyway, I think I've broken it down as much as possible. So these are the people that tend to experience more of narcissistic abuse, only because the devil is trying to stop them from achieving their destiny, from getting to their purpose in life, from achieving their purpose in life, if that makes any sense. So like I said, not people you want to deal with, not people. I have actually, I mean, I've had a few experiences. Like I said, a lot of people have, but the people that are experiencing more often are people that have a calling on their lives. So I mean, in my experience with a malignant narcissist, actually, it was terrible. Again, a lot of people experience it, so I've actually experienced it. So it was actually terrible human being. Oh my goodness, like terrible. First of all, started off with this. Okay, so for me, it was in the form of a relationship, like a really, really committed relationship. Like, you know, one of those relationships that the families have gotten to know the other family, blah, blah, blah. Do you understand? So there was like a really close bond and everything. I think I talk really fast, so I'm going to try to slow down. So there was like a really close bond, and, but terrible human being, would lie to achieve anything. Do you understand? Obviously, because he had that fake superficial charm, so everyone loved him. My friends, my family, everyone loved him because they thought it was absolutely perfect. But it was all pretense, and I was the only one that knew. It's just one of those things that you have to go on your gut feeling, right? You can't really say to anybody, this person is bad, because they can't see it. Do you understand? They can never see. Probably you're the only one that knows that this person is a terrible person. So they would do things. He would do things for himself and make people feel like he did it for me. Do you understand? It was really, really bad. Oh my goodness. He would he would tell lies on me at the drop of a hat, like, and no one believed me. No one believed anything I had to say. Everyone just believed him because they thought he was like really, really perfect. They thought he was so perfect. So it was horrible. I'm trying to think back to everything that happened, but it was a traumatic experience. Like, and you know, one of those relationships, like, it has become so close, like families know each other, you don't want it to break. You're more protective of that. I mean, if it was one of those like relationships, it just was one-offs, it would be easy to walk away, right? But at the end of the day, you don't want everybody saying, like, I didn't want everybody saying, oh, okay, she can't keep a relationship, she can't keep it. So I didn't want to keep walking out of, just at the time I cared, now I don't. So anyway, at the time I really cared, because I was like, okay, I don't want people thinking, oh, like, I'm the problem all the time. So I was willing to put up with it. Do you understand? But it was so bad. Like, it was so bad, so evil. Like, this person was it was a terrible human being, and I couldn't tell anyone. Before I got, it was like he could read my mind, right? Like, he knew what I was going to do next. And every time I wanted to like talk to people, like, okay, do you understand? He had already spoken to those people, and those people already believe him, so they're not going to believe me anyway. It was horrible. A traumatic experience. But I want to talk about something other people can relate to, right? Do you understand that it's just not my experience? I've had that experience. It was terrible. It was traumatic. I'm not going to lie. But I want everybody to be able to relate to it. And since I'm coming from a spiritual standpoint, I'm going to go through religious text. Hence the Bible. I tend to use the Bible a lot, not because of preference, but because it's what I can relate to. It's the book I've read to an extent anyway. Do you understand? So it's what I can relate to. So apply it how it fits to your religion or to your life. Do you understand? I don't know much about other religions, and it can be offensive when you say the wrong things about other people's religion. So I'm going to go with the Bible. Like I said, relate to it to how it fits to your religion, because it's not necessarily a religious topic. I'm just going via religious text because I want people to be able to relate to it. So even if you're not Christian and you can't read it, you can Google about it, you understand, just to have an idea of what it's about. But I'm using the Bible because it's what I can relate to, if that makes any sense. So anyway, so we're going to look at the story of Mordecai in the book of Esther and Haman. I think a very popular prayer is, my Haman shall die in my place. And you'll know why in a minute, because Haman is a malignant narcissist. Okay, so let's break it down. So how is he a malignant narcissist? So first of all, let's look at book characters in the Bible. Normally when people look at the book of Esther, the focus is on Esther. But Esther, for me, the focus is not Esther today. It's actually her uncle Mordecai. Do you understand? Now, Mordecai, the reason why this story is highlighted to me is because Mordecai can actually, sorry, I'm trying to look at the time. Okay, 7 minutes in, so I'll just try to hurry up. So Mordecai, for me, can actually be identified as an empath. And the reason why I think so is because, sorry, I made a few notes so that I don't forget, so I'm just trying to open it. I was actually trying to open it stylishly so that nobody knows I'm actually opening my notes, but hey, I think that's obvious now. So anyway, so Mordecai can actually be looked at as an empath. Now, Mordecai had a calling on his life, but he didn't know it. Okay, and what was the calling? Eventually, he was to be promoted in the king's palace. It was to be promoted above a lot of princes, and so he had a calling to do something important. Do you understand? But he didn't know it at the time. Now, why can Mordecai be referred to? So Mordecai had a calling, we all know that. So he can be referred to as an empath. First of all, he took in his brother's or his uncle's daughter, Esther. So he took her in. Now, the other family members, I mean, taking in a child, I mean, her parents, she lost her parents, right? And her uncle took her in. Taking in a child is not small expenses, it's major expenses, especially a child that is not actually yours. Do you understand? And from what we learned in the Bible, it says he loved her like his own daughter. So, I mean, he extended not just empathy or sympathy, he actually took her in, do you understand, and took care of her as his own daughter. Do you understand? Now, Haman, who was actually promoted at the king's palace, right? Haman actually represents the devil, narcissist, and a malignant one in Mordecai's life. Why? Because he didn't just seek to destroy him, he actually sought to destroy his entire lineage. But let's go back to, anyway, so let's go back to Mordecai. So yes, Haman represented the devil, a narcissist in Mordecai's life, to stop him from reaching his destiny. And I mean, the way the story was written, it wasn't written as though he was trying to stop him from reaching his destiny, but by the time you actually read through it, you realize that he represents the devil that would have actually cut his life short before he was able to get to the king's palace, if that makes any sense. So anyway, so yes, so he took care of Esther as his own. Again, he's an empath because when Queen Vashti, who was the king's first wife, when she disobeyed the king and the king was advised, okay, so yeah, bring in another wife or whatever, another person, I mean, it wasn't said if Mordecai had a daughter or whatever it is, but another person, if there's nothing in it for them, they probably won't present Esther, because Esther is not his daughter. Do you understand? Why would he choose Esther to be the king's wife above his daughter? It doesn't mention if he had a daughter, but I mean, except for a lot of people, except there's something in it for them, they don't actually want the next person to be better than them, especially someone that is not even his daughter. Do you understand? If that makes any sense. So for a lot of people, they won't want Esther to be better than his own children or to be better than, do you understand? He's not even his daughter. Do you understand? He won't necessarily want good. A lot of people don't want good for the next person, even friends. Do you understand? They don't want their friend to be better than them or whatever. So for a lot of people, but for Mordecai, it was actually the complete opposite, because he actually took Esther to contest. Do you understand? For the queen's position, he actually took Esther, and when he took her there, he didn't just abandon her. It was recorded that he actually went every day to check on her and to advise her. Do you understand? So he's a good person. Do you understand? He wasn't just looking out. He wasn't even looking out for himself. He was selfless towards Esther. Do you understand? He took her there. He advised her. He even told her, okay, don't tell people you're a Jew. Yeah, don't let, do you understand? So that you can actually advance. Once people find out you're a Jew, they might Do you understand? They might have a problem with you, or it might cause an issue, or they might, do you understand, truncate that destiny or whatever it is. So he was totally selfless. He was actually very observant. Like when people said they wanted to kill the king, sorry, I just looked down at my notes. Sorry about that. I don't want to miss anything. So when people said they were going to, some people were talking by the king's palace, and like I said, he went there every day to check on Esther and to advise her. So they were planning to kill the king, and he heard. Now, he did not, another selfish person would literally go and tell the king so that they would take the credit for that. But what he did was tell Esther, like, okay, Esther, tell the king. Do you understand? People are planning to kill him. He didn't try to take that glory for himself. He's a selfless person. Do you understand? So, however, Esther went to the king and said, and mentioned it in Mordecai's name, even though that was all forgotten. Do you understand? It was recorded, but it was forgotten. And somebody else was promoted instead of Mordecai. Anyway. So he was observant, he was loyal, he went to see Esther every day, he was caring, he was amazing towards Esther, and he had faith in God. Like, he literally, if you remember when Haman was seeking to kill, do you understand, Jews in general, he actually, like, he had faith. He sent out word to Jews to pray and to fast and everything. So he had faith that, do you understand, in God and everything. So he was a godly person, do you understand? Hence why he can be referred to as an empath. Whilst narcissists, like I've always said, are like minions of the devil, empaths are like minions of God. Do you understand? They are people of light, people of good, people of love, do you understand? And stuff like that. So it's like a war between the good and the bad, light and darkness, so to speak. So anyway, I hope I'm not just blagging on. Anyway, he had faith in God, and then lastly, he would not bow down to Haman. Now Haman, as soon as he was promoted above all the princes, he wanted all the king's servants to bow down to him. He wanted people to worship him. He wanted people to praise him, but Mordecai refused. Now, why do you think that is? It could be because, first of all, he knew the sort of person Haman was. Even though he didn't really know Haman, it wasn't really recorded that he knew Haman. But my take is because if you date it back, okay, so let's go back to Haman and his lineage. Mordecai and his lineage. Like, okay, so I think this reason. Okay, anyway, so Mordecai, if you look at his name, it's like Mordek, or it's like a false god of Babylonian. It's like the meaning of Mordecai is like to say a little boy, a warrior, so to speak. Do you understand? Like a warrior for a false god, which is Mordek, which is where his name was derived from, Mordecai. That's like a Babylonian false god or whatever. Now, where would he have gotten the name? Because Mordecai is actually a pure Jew. His lineage dates back to the Jewish people that were taken captive by, is it Nebuchadnezzar or something, by the Babylonian king or whatever, and taken to Babylon. Now, those people were given names in Babylon to indoctrinate them into their system. Do you understand? So they can, to absorb them into their system. So they were given like Babylonian names, hence the name Mordecai. However, Mordecai was a full Jew. Do you understand? Now, the reason why he probably, and I think he would have refused to bow down to Haman, is because if you look at Haman and his background and his lineage, Haman is said to be an Agagite, right? Who is Agag? Agag was like the king of the Amalekites. Do you understand? These were the people God instructed. God instructed the Jews to wipe out the Amalekites because they had their doctrines, their religion was, they worship false gods, they sacrifice babies, everything evil. They were very evil. So God had commanded Saul at the time to wipe out all the Amalekites. Do you understand? Now, Haman is an Agagite, which he's a descendant of the Amalekites. So obviously Saul did not do a very good job by wiping them out. So he didn't wipe them. He thought he wiped them all out, but obviously for over 700 years, their descendants was Haman, which is why he probably hated the Jews so much. Do you understand? Because of what the because of the ancestral story. And Mordecai may have refused to bow down to him because he realized that this person is actually a descendant of the Amalekites, people that were enemies of God. So do you understand? These people worshipped idols. They were evil. Do you understand? So he would have refused to bow down to him. And plus, as a servant of God, as a pure Jew, you're not to bow down to man. You're only to bow down to God. Which is why I also think he told he told what's her name, Esther, not to reveal that she was a Jew, knowing fully well that amongst the palace there are still people that are not, do you understand, that are kind of enemies of Jews. Do you understand? Anyway, I'll be blabbing on. I hope I'm making it a lot of sense. So this is the history. So this is probably why he would have refused to bow down to idols, if that makes any sense. So at the time, Haman represented an idol because obviously he wanted to be worshipped. Now, narcissists, like I've always said, they don't have a problem with you going to church or whatever. They just want to be your God. Do you understand? So Haman wanted Mordecai to bow down to him as his God, as a superior. Do you understand? So Mordecai refused, and Haman went into a narcissistic rage. Now he would have just been a narcissist, like if he just sought to destroy him and destroy. Because Mordecai, one man, refused to bow down to him, he was willing to destroy Mordecai's entire lineage, not just his lineage, not just his children, not just his family, all the Jews, because one man refused to bow down to him. Like, what mental, do you understand? And he wanted them all killed. In fact, there was a date for it, and I think it was 13th of December or something. He had actually put a date to where they would all be destroyed. Do you understand? Typical narcissistic fashion. Like, a narcissistic rage is crazy, and I'm going to do a video on that. When a narcissist is angry, they will seek to destroy. Do you understand? Once you don't acknowledge them or praise them or worship them, they're not after just that person. They will seek to destroy everything that is you. They will put you in isolation. They will kill you. They might not physically kill you, but a psychopath would. Do you understand? Which hence the whole malignant narcissist. And a normal narcissist would seek to kill everything in your life so that maybe you kill yourself. A psychopath will literally kill you. Now, the mixture of the two is terrible. Do you understand? So what's it called? Haman represented a mixture of the two, a malignant narcissist. So he wasn't just seeking to destroy Mordecai. He wanted to destroy his lineage. He wanted to destroy the Jews, everything to do with him. He even set a date. He did everything. Now, to achieve that, another thing narcissists have is they're pathological liars. They will tell lies on you. They will turn everybody against you. They'll make people believe you're the bad one, you're the evil one, you're the deal, so people can isolate you, so people can turn against you, so people can work against you. How did I know that? Haman went to the king and he lied. He told hideous lies against Mordecai. Okay, so this person, they have a doctrine that is different from ours. They worship, they're bad people, they're evil people, they're this people, they're that people. I think we should seek to destroy them. And the king was like, well, okay, here's my ring, do whatever you want, put a date to it, destroy them, whatever. If they're bad people, they're evil people, now don't forget, this were Esther's people. Do you understand? So everything, they were evil people, they're this, that. So told hideous lies and made the king turn against the Jews, basically. So now, let's look at the characteristics of a malignant narcissist, do you understand? And see how we can relate that to Haman, right? So I just wanted a story everybody can relate to, do you understand? You can Google it, you can read up on it. A lot of Christians have read it before, do you understand? Usually the focus is on Esther, but today I'm actually focusing on Haman as a malignant narcissist. So, let's look at the characteristics of Haman. Sorry, I took notes. And I'm speaking like this because I'm trying to turn my notes. Okay, so Haman was full of pride. Very, 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 very prideful. I mean, very prideful. The moment he was promoted in the king's palace, he wanted the whole world to worship him. He wanted everybody to bow down to him. He wanted to make himself a god, an idol, where you worship. Do you understand? He wanted people to pay homage to him. Normal narcissistic fashion. These are people, normal malignant narcissistic fashion. They seek praise and adoration and worship from people. Do you understand? So he literally wanted people to pay homage to him. Now, highly controlling, do you understand? Just because he felt that lack of control, like Mordecai would not bow down to him, do you understand? He went off into a narcissistic rage. Like he went off, he was so angry. Every time he saw Mordecai, all he saw was death. He just wanted to destroy him. He just wanted to kill him. He just wanted to, do you understand? He just wanted to destroy him, do you understand? And in a typical narcissistic fashion, okay. So, like I said, there's a prayer, my Haman shall die in my place. So he sought to destroy Mordecai. Like he told, I mean, he asked people to build, people to build gallows, like 50 cubit high gallows where he would hang them, him, his children, and then kill all the other Jews and do this and do that and do that and do that. Like I said, narcissists love to watch people suffer. They love to see their victims suffer. They love to watch it and enjoy it. While psychopaths love to, they enjoy, whilst they're killing their victim, they love to see like the blood drop out of them or whatever. I mean, like really, really evil shit. Excuse my French. So really, really evil. So what he had done, so let me explain to you what Haman did, right? So Shusha, which is the name of the town, of the place, or Susa or Shusha, anyway, it's like it's a flat area. It means a flat area, right? So that place is like really flat. Now the king's palace is like about 15 minutes higher than the city. Do you understand? So the king's palace is about, not 15 minutes, 15 meters higher or something, centimeters or meters higher than the city. So it's a bit high from the city itself. So people in the city can actually view the king's palace. Now, because he was promoted as part of the king's circle, right? What he wanted to do was, whilst he's feasting at the king's palace, I mean, if the gallows were low in the city, he wouldn't be able to see it. But he asked them to build a 50 meters high, 50 meters high gallows, so that even from the king's palace he can watch them being hanged. If that makes any sense. Like, how evil can you possibly get? Like, seriously, he had told them to build it high, so that even from the king's palace, this guy can literally watch them being hanged, like the life literally draining out of them. Like, that is like pure evil. Do you understand? So he was the malignant narcissist. He just didn't want to see them suffer. He wanted to see, like, literally life drop out of them. Do you understand? Like, that evil. So anyway, so he had hatred and bitterness for Jewish people for no reason at all. I mean, he was a descendant. This is something that happened years and years and years and years and years, over 700 years ago, and this guy is still seeking to destroy. Do you understand? Like, still hates. Do you understand? But mostly, what he didn't realize is he was being used by the devil to wipe out the Jews anyway. Do you understand? And also, he was being used by the devil to stop Mordecai's destiny. What he was about was, I'm so angry. Mordecai is not going to bow down to me. He doesn't want to worship me. I'm going to destroy him. I'm going to destroy his lineage. Typical narcissistic fashion. So he also gathered foolish counselors. Like, if you know anything about narcissists, you would know that they need their flying monkey. Sorry, how many minutes am I gone now? Oh gosh, 23 minutes. So I have to be really fast. They need flying monkeys. Narcissists always tend to gather flying monkeys. And who are flying monkeys? These are family, friends, and everything. They're able to convince that you're an evil person. These are people that would do the bidding of the narcissist. They would do it. So a narcissist may not come to you directly. They'll send flying monkeys to you. Just that those are their friends and their families and your friends. Possibly most of the time, the people they are able to penetrate and tell evil things about you. So these people now believe all those evil things about you. So they're going to help them narcissists take you down and destroy you. And do you understand? So Haman gathered all that. He gathered flying monkeys and everything. Like, oh yeah, let's destroy Jews, blah blah blah. They're evil people. They did this, they did that. I mean, those ones could have literally advised him. But Haman was rich. He had position, he had status, and he was rich. You understand? They were not going to tell him the truth. They couldn't tell him the truth. They were flying monkeys. They would do his bidding. Do you understand? Because obviously he had the power and he had status. So nobody was going to sit him down to say, okay, Haman, like, why are you doing this? These people haven't really done anything to you. No, they won't do that. They wanted to help him achieve his aim. So he gathered flying monkeys. Oh yeah, let's take down which is the typical narcissistic fashion. So let's look at the characteristics of a narcissist and see how we can actually tie that, of a malignant narcissist, and how we can tie that to Haman. So malignant narcissist has a lack of empathy. So I'm going to go really fast now because I'm being mindful of the time. So they lack empathy. Anything about narcissists or psychopaths, they lack empathy. They don't care. They won't care. I mean, for somebody to be so angry that I'm going to destroy you, your children, your lineage, all the Jews, people that come from your area, people that come from your country, people that come from your town, I'm going to destroy all of them because you refuse to bow down to me. That is somebody that is pure evil. No empathy. Was even going to watch life like actually suffocate. Like, was going to watch them hanged, like life out of them. Do you understand? Literally, like, evil. So they lack empathy. They use relationships as a tool for gaining self-esteem. So he used the king, literally. Do you understand? He used the king to achieve his aim. You know, so, I mean, his relationship with the king was supposed to be for the betterment of the society. But no, he was going to use that relationship as a tool to destroy the Jews. and to destroy Mordecai, if that makes any sense. So now I'm going really fast. So they have zero interest in other, they don't care about other people's interests, other people's needs, other people's feelings. They don't care. Do you understand? They don't care. All they are after is, how do I achieve my aim? Do you understand? They don't care who they hurt, who they step on, who they destroy, who dies, as long as I get exactly what I want when I want it. Do you understand? Okay, so another point is they are attention seekers. These people will seek for attention in any way, shape, or form. They will seek for the attention. They would. Do you understand? They are clout chasers. If that's a more of a new age way of looking at it, these are clout chasers. Do you understand? They will seek attention. They will get attention any way they can. They would like to get it. They will kill. They will steal. They will destroy to get that attention. Do you understand? These are people that can even hurt their own children. Like, if they're parents, they can hurt their children just to gain attention. If that makes any sense. Like, my daughter is always, not my daughter, just that their kid is always ill or whatever. They can put stuff in their kids' food to make their kids ill just to gain attention from whoever or whatever it is. So these are people that will go to extreme, crazy lengths to do certain things. So they have the feeling of entitlement. They feel like they're so special. Like Haman did. Oh my God, he wanted people to worship him. He felt like he was better than everybody else. Do you understand? They have that superiority complex. Everybody is inferior. Pathological liars. I mean, these are people. So these are people, they would lie to other people about you. Oh, this person is horrible. This person is evil. They worship the devil. They abuse children. They're ritualists. They're drug dealers. They will call you whatever name just to turn the whole world against you. Do you understand? They're pathological lies. They will tell lies on you at the drop, and not simple lies, like hideous lies that will make you either get arrested or something, that will make people want to ostracize you. Like, literally, people want to kill you. So that's how they get to turn other people, and they would go to lengths. They will pay people. They will pay people to help them with their lies. Like hens flying monkeys. Do you understand? They will gather people to help them tell lies on you. They will do whatever, so that for them it's like the more the merrier. Like, the more people can go against one person. Do you understand? Like, do you understand? Nobody's going to end up believing. They will gain access to everybody you know. They will stalk you to know who you know, where they can talk about you. Do you understand? Anybody that can be a helper, they will destroy it. Do you get? They also tend to break the law a lot. Do you understand? Or twist the law to their advantage. Like, do you understand? Okay, there was no law in Shushan to kill Jews, but Haman found a way to actually twist it to his advantage. Do you understand? They tend to break the laws a lot. Like, if you're in a car with somebody that likes to skip red lights all the time, or likes to, do you understand, just derives pleasure in, like, maybe would stop at a zebra crossing, and when somebody wants to cross would then move the car just to scare the person or make the person look uncomfortable or make the person hurt themselves. Or those are people with very, very high narcissistic traits. Do you understand? They enjoy breaking the law. They would generally, I mean, these are people that when they want to advise you, like, they will generally advise you. It's usually bad advice. They won't go for the morally upright advice. They will go for the more morally corrupt advice. You understand? When they want to advise you, they're always advising you to do evil. Like, okay, somebody offended you. Rather than say, okay, you know what, forgive and forget, they'll say, are you kidding me? Let's find a way to destroy that person. That person thinks they're so great or whatever. If you have one of those people in your lives, these people are people with very high narcissistic traits. They might not be full-blown narcissists, but very, 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 very high narcissistic traits. So these are people with chronic irresponsibility. They are highly irresponsible. Like, Haman was supposed to protect and serve the country, but instead he was seeking to destroy. Highly irresponsible, horrible, horrid human beings. Impulsive and very reckless behavior. Do you understand? He just acted on impulse. Anybody with a thinking mind will not think, okay, you know what, this person didn't say hello to me, this person didn't worship him, this person didn't bow down to me, so I'm going to not just kill him, I'm going to kill that entire country, I'm going to kill everybody from their lineage, I'm going to do this. Very, very, very impulsive. Do you understand? Highly reckless behavior. And the way to identify them is their superficial charm, or probably that's the way people don't identify them, because they are highly charming, but it's very superficial. Especially, I mean, narcissists are so charming. I mean, that's how they get to weave a web around people, right? Psychopaths, if you've ever met a psychopath, very charming, very lovely, highly courteous. You see, oh my God, like, I've met the best person in life. No, one thing you could look out for is their eyes. You know, people say, like, the eyes are the window to the soul. They're soulless. Their eyes are dead. Like the smile never reaches their eyes. It's dead, especially with psychopaths. With narcissists, they can still pretend. What with psychopaths, there's nothing there. It's like knock knock. No one's there. There's no soul. Nothing. You're dealing with a person with no soul. They have zero. That's why they don't feel anything. They can kill somebody, they feel nothing. Absolutely nothing. So anyway, so these are the characteristics of a malignant narcissist. It's a combination of somebody with a narcissistic personality disorder and an antisocial personality disorder, which is psychopathy or sociopathy. Do you understand? So it's a combination of the two. These are very, 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 very highly dangerous people. And how did Mordecai tackle it? Again, I say, for me, this is more of a spiritual thing than a physical thing, than a medical thing, sorry. So, like I said, narcissism has no cure. Do you understand? So it's not medical. Do you understand? So, again, how did Mordecai tackle it? He prayed. He tackled it spiritually. He asked all the Jews to fast and pray. He even asked Esther, before you go to the king, before you talk to the king, before you say anything to the king, fast and pray. So he tackled it spiritually. Do you understand? If you notice, he never went to Haman. You should never confront a narcissist. It's not worth it. It's like you're confronting the devil. What you expect will happen, that the devil will reason with you? Like, seriously? Do you understand? The devil is never going to reason with you. The devil is not going to come to you with horns and tails and it's people. Do you understand? So reasoning with evil people is a waste of time, because they can't change. They don't have the ability to change. Let me put it that way. Do you understand? They do the work of the devil. They carry out, do you understand? They carry negative energies. Do you understand? They can't, it's their energy. Except you can change their energy, then you can probably change them. So if you're trying to reason with them, it's like you can't reason. Do you understand? There's no reasoning with them. So you should never confront a narcissist. Do you understand? Especially like a covert narcissist, a malignant narcissist. Imagine trying to reason with a psycho. A psycho just wants to kill you. You understand? They don't understand whatever it is you're saying or whatever it is you represent. They just want to kill. They just want to kill you because that's the only way they derive pleasure. Do you get? So you reasoning with them is like, what are you on about? So anyway, he never confronted Haman. He prayed, and that was how he was able to defeat Haman. So those gallows built for Mordecai was what took the life of Haman. So Haman and his people and his his children or whatever were actually hung on the gallows he built for Mordecai. It was never tackled medically. It was never tackled physically. He never insulted him. He never confronted him. He prayed. He tackled it spiritually. And that's the only way, in my opinion, to tackle narcissistic abuse. So if you have been experiencing narcissistic abuse, my solution, like I said, if you don't have to be Christian, it's not limited to religion or spirituality or a type of spirituality. Sorry, it's you tackle it spiritually, but it's not limited to any type of tackling. What I'm saying is, whatever it is you do, if you pray, if you meditate, if you fast, whatever it is you do that is in the way of God, it's like petitioning God, like it's like asking God to come and intervene on your behalf. That's what you do. Asking the divine, asking God, asking whatever it is. Do you understand? In the way of light, in the way of good. Do you understand? Asking the divine, asking God, archangels, angels. I'm not saying pray to, I don't know what you do, but in the way of light. What I'm trying to say is, what you have to do is tackle it spiritually. It's never to be done physically. You should never confront a narcissist. It's a waste of time. And that was how Mordecai was able to defeat Haman. End of my story. So anyway, I hope I've been able to break this down. I mean, I really I've been trying to do this topic like malignant narcissism for a while. I never got the inspiration to do it till very recently. So sometimes I do wait to get inspiration to do certain topics before I do it. Like I said, the way I know it's an inspiration is like when I wanted to do it, I wasn't even thinking about, I mean, I've known the story since forever, but I only focus on Esther. So the name Mordecai popped up in my head, and I'm like, okay, how does this relate to narcissism? It didn't even make sense to me. And I started to read up on it. I started to look into it, and I'm like, oh my god, this was exactly what I was looking for. So that's why I tend to wait for inspiration as opposed to going from the top of my head. I do love you all. I always forget to say, if you do like my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Love you all. Namaste. Have a wonderful week. Stay blessed. Peace.